This is the Lazy Mom's Guide to Saving Money on Groceries. I am going to share with you the quick and easy ways to slash your grocery budget without much headache, stress, and time. Okay, first let's talk about the word lazy. I don't think any of us are actually lazy. I think that I titled that to get your attention first off. But if you are just like, yes, I want a lazy method. It's not because you're lazy, it's because you're a busy mama, right? So I'm not calling you lazy. I'm not calling me lazy. I mean, sometimes I feel lazy, right? And that's okay, because I'm a busy working mom, and I got a little one, and I got a lot of stuff to do. So we're allowed to be a little bit lazy and to look for those lazy genius ways to solve problems. If you get that reference, there is a woman named something that I'll put on the screen when I Google it. I just blanked on her name. But she has a whole book and podcast series. I don't think she's on YouTube, but if she is, I'll link her below, called The Lazy Genius Method, Principles, something like that, but all about being lazy in smart ways and like prioritizing the right things. And so that's kind of what we're going to talk about in this video, is like my lazy methods for meal planning. Goodness gracious. My lazy methods for meal planning and grocery budgeting. There we go. So one thing you are probably wondering is, do I need to spend a bunch of time going to different stores and shopping sales flyers and couponing? No. This is the lazy method, right? Like, we are not doing that stuff. And I'll link a video here about why I stopped shopping sales flyers and sales in general, because I just feel like the juice ain't worth the squeeze and you are not getting that much of a savings out of it. So watch that video. You know, when I do have the time, I will peruse sales, and if there's something like super good, or like Kroger's really good about giving really good coupons for even free items, I'll make a trip for that, especially if I'm gonna like drive past a Kroger. It's worth my time, right? But most of the time I don't do that. So no, this method for saving money on groceries does not require sales shopping or couponing. So you don't need to shop sales or coupon, but you do need to buy less. And that's probably like okay, duh, I need to buy less groceries and I'll save money. Oh, no kidding. But you need to buy less the right way, where buying less doesn't lead to your kids being like, Mom, there's no food. Mom, what am I going to eat? Or your husband. My husband will tease me and he'll like open the pantry and I'll be like, it's barren. He's going to get mad at me for calling. He's not going to actually get mad, but he's going to be like, you put that in the video? Yes, I did. Stop it. Anywho, so you are going to buy less without your kitchen being empty, basically. And the way you're going to do that, first, you are going to buy less by shopping your kitchen. And I will link a video going into detail on how to shop your kitchen. So that'll be linked in the description as well. So you can go watch that next. But that is the best way to easily and lazily cut your grocery bill, is to see what you already own, what you have already bought at the store, and plan your meals based on that. And you do need to plan your meals. So if you are anti-meal planning, I'm gonna link a video also for that. But you do not have to do strict meal planning. You do not need to say, Monday we're having this, Tuesday we're having this, Wednesday we're having this. But you do need to have some sort of a plan and choose your recipes a little bit ahead of time, or at least with intention. If you just go to the store with whatever recipe popped in your brain and you bought all the things for it every time you think about it, you're probably buying things you don't need, and then you're not going to use up what you already have. You're going to rebuy things, you're going to buy duplicates, and you're going to have food spoilage. So that is a waste. So you need to decide what you're going to eat with intention. So not only do I recommend some sort of meal plan, deciding on dinners with intention, but to buy less, you also need to keep a kitchen stock list. So shopping your kitchen, seeing what you have already on hand, and planning meals based on that is a way to buy less by making a plan to use up the things you already have, right? But your kitchen stock is going to help you from going back to the store and accidentally having things jump in your cart that you didn't intend on buying, right? Or just wasting your time by going to the store a bunch of times. So your kitchen stock list is the list of all the things you need to keep on hand all the time. So for me, this is things like dino nuggets, peanut butter, crackers, yogurt. I'm listing the stuff I get for my daughter first because that's the most important. You know, she's 3. She's a little less flexible than us adults. Also, I just spit while I was talking. I'm getting over being sick, so forgive me if you saw that. Anywho, things like that are on my kitchen stock list, but also things like coffee, things we use to make our morning smoothies, like everyday things my husband and I snack on, my commonly used ingredients that sometimes I forget to check before I go to the grocery store, and I go to make like chicken teriyaki and I realize I don't have brown sugar, which is a very important ingredient in chicken teriyaki sauce. Like I will just assume that I have brown sugar, and then when I go to cook, I'm like, oops, a daisy, I do not have that. So making a kitchen stock list of all the things you need to keep on hand all the time, lunch options, snack options, breakfast options, and then the things you commonly use in recipes to cook is very important to help you avoid, it's a bunch of sirens, to help you avoid those numerous runs to the grocery store where you inevitably spend too much, right? And then, like I said, you do need to have some sort of meal plan, and I'm going to tell you real quick. Again, I'll link another video going more in depth, but I'm going to tell you real quick the quickest way to meal plan. I call it my 4-step easy meal planning process, easy budget meal planning process. And step 1 is making a go-to dinners list. This is going to save you so much time. So you do have to put in a little bit of effort in the get-go. But what I suggest doing, and I have a whole video of my 5-minute tasks to help you save money on groceries, and this is the most important one. So you can make this go-to dinners list on your phone. You can make it on a piece of paper. You can make it on your Alexa or similar devices. She's over there, so I didn't want to say her name. But make a list of, I would say, start with at least 10 of dinners you know you can easily cook and that your family will enjoy eating. And then every time you think of another recipe, add to it. So initially, yeah, this will take 5 minutes. Maybe even less if you quickly, like, you're like, okay, my kids like spaghetti and they like hot dogs and they like hamburgers, you know, those things. But continue adding to this list. My list is 77 recipes. Like, my list is super long. But my whole thing is like meal planning and eating at home, right? Like, I live cheap to travel often. And the number one way I live cheap is by cooking at home and avoiding eating out. And I know this is a lot harder when you've got kids going to 9 million different after school activities and things. So no shame if you were only able to eat at home 4 days a week and half the time it's frozen pizza, like whatever. I am going to help you easily add more home cooking to that, right? So following these principles, these can be adjusted for whatever season of life you're in, whatever your family circumstances are. I also have a video coming up about mini prep and what I call the mini prep method and how that is not prepping whole meals, but it still helps you get homemade dinners, home cooked dinners. I say home cooked because sometimes I use a lot of shortcut ingredients or freezer meals to help me eat at home, but not necessarily cook at home. But anywho, that video is all about making it easier to have dinner in rather than out. And I lost my train of thought. What was I talking about? Oh yes, my 4-step meal planning process. Oh my gosh. So you're gonna make that go-to dinners list. I suggest getting it up to 20 to 25 if you're able. If you cook twice a week and that's your goal and that's what you want, then okay, 10 is probably more than enough. Yeah, mine's 77, but some of them are seasonal, like chilies and soups and stews and stuff. Some of them are my favorite backup dinners. So I love the frozen orange chicken at Aldi. I even put frozen pizza on there, just things like that. So I can check that list and be like, oh yeah, I should stock up on some frozen pizza again, because inevitably there's going to be a night where I just don't feel like cooking, right? So my list is 77. Yours does not need to be that long, but make that go-to dinners list once, and then step 1 of the meal planning process becomes checking your go-to dinners list. Step 2 is checking your calendar. So checking for the nights where you do have different after school activities going on, or a really late night at the office, whatever it is going on, and plan your meals based on that. So maybe you have a planned night out instead of a last minute, oops, we don't have time for dinner night out. Plan your nights out. And then when you know you're likely going to have to get takeout or drive through or whatever, try really motivate yourself to avoid that the rest of the week, because you know you're going to that day, right? So check your go-to list, check your calendar. Actually, I said that out of order. First thing you're gonna do is make your kitchen inventory. My apologies. you're gonna take a kitchen inventory. You're gonna see what you already own, like I talked about previously. You're gonna make a list of that. Then you're gonna check your grocery list. Then, no, oh my heavens. You are gonna check your calendar? I don't know why I just said grocery list. And then you're gonna go to your go-to dinners list and you're gonna say, okay, what from this go-to dinners list uses what I already have? What from this go-to dinners list is best for these busy nights? Or am I gonna just do a frozen pizza, Chick-fil-A, whatever? And then you are going to make your list from that. You are going to check your kitchen stock and make your grocery list. So let me redo that completely because it was so bad. So step 1, kitchen inventory. Step 2, check your calendar. Step 3, check your go-to list. Step 4, decide the meals and make your grocery list. My brain is fried, y'all. Some other really easy ways to lazy meal plan is to make a rotating meal plan. I knew somebody once who every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, they had the same meals every week. Like Monday was sandwiches, Taco Tuesday, something like that. And she's like, the kids knew it, I knew it, like I didn't have to think, and then they would fill in the rest of the days. And I was like, I mean, if that works for you, okay. But what I suggest for a rotating plan is at least a 2-week rotation. Up to a 4-week rotation where, yeah, maybe you have a themed day of the week. I think I made this up, Bun Day Monday. So you do things like burgers, sloppy joes, hot dogs, anything on a bun. I think wraps works too, you know, like maybe make a Greek wrap or buffalo chicken wrap or whatever. Barbecue chicken, barbecue pork on a bun, like Bun Day Monday. And then Taco Tuesday could be just like Mexican Tuesday. But yeah, you can use that to rotate through. So again, it takes kind of the thought process out of it. It makes it a little bit easier. Or you can just make your own, like here's 5 meals, here's 5 meals, here's 5 meals, however many times you want to cook a week. And you just look at them and you're like, okay, I'm going to do that one this week. Maybe you save it digitally, maybe you write it out, whatever. You can also, I sell pre-made meal plans and they will be linked in the description. And you can simply buy mine. I have a rotating meal plan. I have a 20-minute dinners meal plan. I have a what I call semi-homemade, like I said again a minute ago, where that is like, it'll be like Kung Pao chicken and you buy the Kung Pao sauce. That's semi-homemade. You made the chicken, you buy the sauce, things like that. So really simple. Yeah, so I sell those. But another really easy way, you can make a digital version of your go-to dinners list. And then I would take your kitchen inventory and then you go to ChatGPT. And you go into ChatGPT and you say, here's what I have in the kitchen. And you tell it the amounts. Because the first time I tried this, it gave me a meal plan where it used like my 2 chicken breasts I had on hand like 4 times. I'm like, that's not enough for 4 meals. So you do have to tell it, like, using what I have in my kitchen and the amounts I have in my kitchen, make me a budget-friendly meal plan complete with recipes and a categorized grocery list. Do not exceed the amount I have on hand or whatever, or say like try to not exceed it because you may have to buy more meat. But give it those guidelines, like get real specific. And then if it spits out something that you're like, that doesn't make sense at all, correct it. It's a robot, it doesn't care. Do be polite in case they take over one day. You've probably seen that joke. But anywho, yeah, ChatGPT can help you quickly do that without much thought. Or yeah, make your own rotating plans or buy mine. All right, now let's talk about instant budget cuts. These are the things that as soon as you make this choice and this decision, you're gonna save money. And the first one is just buying cheaper versions of things. So maybe you start buying the off-brand, the store brand item instead of the name brand, or maybe you just like ditch certain things. I'm trying to think of an example now. So say you do like a big breakfast on Saturday mornings and you have, I don't know, this is a bad example, but we're just gonna continue. You make bacon and eggs and pancakes. Take out the bacon, or do bacon like once a month. That's gonna be really expensive, right? Like find those things you can just do away with. I started making homemade turkey lunch meat. Lunch meat is really expensive at the store, right? Like, especially if you get the fresh cut, it's really expensive. So just finding easy swaps for things like that. If you can swap sandwiches for peanut butter and jelly, I don't know. These are really bad examples, but you get what I mean, right? Like find the things you can just completely eliminate. And then going back to what I just said, how I started making homemade turkey lunch meat, finding things you can easily DIY. I realized that you can buy a frozen turkey breast, cook it from frozen, and then just slice it up. And I was like, oh my gosh, like what? That's so easy. I just throw it in the oven and roast it. I do actually add a little bit of Cajun seasoning, or a lot of bit of Cajun seasoning because we like Cajun turkey breast. But once I realized I could make that so much cheaper and it's so easy, I was like, why am I spending so much money on this? So find things like that. I make homemade muffins. I don't buy those little mini muffins, mini bites, whatever they're called. Definitely don't buy the name brand ones, but I don't even buy like the Aldi ones unless we're like traveling or something like that. That's the only time I break these rules. But if it can be DIY'd easily, I'm gonna DIY it. Like I'm not making like homemade ketchup or anything like that. But these simple DIYs are worth it. One of my biggest money saving tips is to ditch the empty snacks. And what I mean by empty is not filling. You know, if you eat some potato chips, you might feel a little gross if you eat too many, but you're not gonna be super full, especially not for long. You may be full for a few minutes, but those are not gonna give you like sustainable energy. Everybody's talking about protein right now, right? And so protein heavy snacks, including protein, not necessarily protein heavy, but snacks including a little bit of protein are so much better than empty snacks. They're literally just a waste of money. You may eat them for enjoyment. Like I bought a bag of hot Cheetos yesterday. That was just for a funsy snack. Like I'd had a really long week. My first week back at work after being, or first week, I only took off 2 days, but being back at work, being sick, it was a lot. So it is a different day. Now I'm going to finish this video and finish what I was just saying, but I got interrupted by my husband and my daughter coming home, and there's just no filming with a 3-year-old in the house. So I was talking about empty snacks, how they're a waste of money and a waste of calories if you're trying to eat healthy. And I planned on giving you some ideas for not empty snacks. So my favorite filling snacks are hummus. We love hummus with pretzels, with naan bread, with what we call a cheese taco, just cheese melted on a tortilla, dipped in hummus. I almost said naan. Dipped in hummus. Hummus is a great one because it comes in so many different flavors. If you like it spicy, you can get a spicy one, things like that. And then guacamole is a great filling snack. Kids love that one sometimes. Not picky eaters, of course, but yeah. Cheese sticks, nuts, chocolate covered nuts totally count. Chips and salsa honestly can be pretty filling. Oh yes, my favorite one that especially is good with teenagers because it's like a meal is naan pizza or flatbread pizza. If you just keep some pizza sauce on hand, some mozzarella cheese on hand, and freeze some flatbreads of any kind. We love the garlic naan from Aldi, makes a great flatbread pizza. And we keep that on hand for backup lunches, backup dinners, all the time. I think I said that earlier in the video, but it's been a while since I filmed the beginning of the video, so I don't remember. But anywho, that's a really good one, especially for teenagers. But yeah, skip the empty snacks. Don't stock your fridge and pantry with things that are not going to be filling. Those are treats. They aren't snacks or meals for sure. So try to avoid those as much as possible. Maybe buy one treat a week. I will do that. I'll grab one bag of chips or something like that as a treat, but it's a treat. So maybe we have a sandwich for lunch with a few chips on the side, but it's not something we are relying on when we're hungry, because you're gonna still be hungry, which was my whole point. So yeah, skip those empty snacks. Those are the instant budget cuts and all my other ways to lazily save money. Yeah, lazily save money. I was gonna say something else, but that's it. Those are the ways to be lazy and still save money on food. So I hope you found this video helpful. Maybe it changed your perspective on a couple of things. I hope it gave you some tips to calm your anxiety about the prices of things right now, things like that. I've got lots more good videos coming up. I'm about to film another one and hopefully not get interrupted at the end. I'm about to film a video all about where I shop as a cheap person. My lazy cheap shopping options, I guess, where I buy all the things, so not just food, but beyond that. I've got a video coming up about mini meal prep and the things I do for that. I've got a video coming up about how to make cheap food taste better, and then lots of dinner ideas. I'll be sharing my real meal plans, so be sure to subscribe and stick around to see all of those.